Jen.
Dusty.
How is we?
How are you?
Good, good.
Welcome to K-9 Games.
It's my first trip. So, we're here at K-9 Games. This is my longtime friend Jen, and this is her place. So, I've always wanted to have my next dog trained properly because as much as I love Zoe, I kind of did my own thing. And after being around their dogs that are properly trained and just normal trained as far as like general obedience, they're awesome. But then of course for me, I was like, well, what's the best you can do? And then she said, well, we do full service dogs. And why do I need a service dog? I don't, but I want one. So I'm gonna get one. Jen's gonna give us a tour and kind of give us the breakdown. As always, guys, I don't script this shit. I'm gonna come up with questions on the fly, and I'm sure when you guys are watching this and you decide you wanna come in and have K-9 Games take care of your dog, you'll call Jen, you'll get all your answers. Your dog will be here, dog will be trained better than we are. So, Jen, give us the tour.
Hey, so welcome to K-9 Games, guys. I want to let you know that what you're in is a home. We actually do all training inside of a home environment, so that way your dogs are trained inside of a house and the transition back into your home is really easy because they've been living in a home learning the entire time. So we have a regular living room, a kitchen, a dining room, but all the magic happens for the most part outside. The dogs do live in the house, but a lot of our training sessions happen outside, so we'll take you outside right now. We're on a little bit more than quiet. We're on a little bit more than 2 acres, and as you can see, we actually have all of our runs sectioned off for different size dogs, different temperaments of what we're working on. The most important part is that we work on socialization. We work on basic and advanced obedience, so come, sit, down. Heeling on a walk means that they're walking super close to your leg, placing all 4 feet on the same surface, so think of it as like a babysitting tool for your dogs. Downing, waiting at doors, house manners, no jumping, no nuisance barking, no eating off your counters, all of those crazy things that dogs do. And we have it so that you get on-lead, off-lead reliability at the same time. So if you don't want to wear a leash or you want to take your dog hiking and not have a leash on, you get that at the same time as we do all of our training.
So these dogs are placing on the little thingamajiggers?
Yes, they're called Kookaroos. They're called Kookaroos, and they're super awesome. They're really, really great for the Arizona weather because they allow air to actually go underneath, so it keeps the dogs cool. A lot of these dogs are placing, so everybody you see on these little mats are placing. We've got dogs walking, we've got dogs downing, but the coolest part of it all is when you're dealing with a really large group of dogs, you can use those dogs as distractions for the other ones. And so it's a great learning opportunity to proof what we do, putting them with other dogs to make sure that what we're doing is actually working.
So, I've got these fashionable things on my feet, and they're not red, and I've got black and red everywhere, which I was a little heated about, but whatever. Why am I wearing these?
So we actually start training at 8 weeks old, and so what we do is we have everybody sprayed off and put booties on before they come in, so that way we're not bringing in bacteria from the outside. So what we call is what we have here a safe property. So we can start training as young as 8 weeks. We get vaccinations done when the dogs are here. We bring vets on property, so that way we're not exposing the dogs to any disease or bacteria out in the big bad world, and we keep everybody healthy on property.
Kind of key, guys. We want the dogs to be healthy while they're here, and since my dog will be coming here very young, I dig the booties. I just wish they had red ones today. So it is what it is. Can you guys, can you kind of give us a little show of what all these dogs are doing and walking, placing, all that good stuff with any of them?
So
Doesn't matter which ones.
what you see on these Kookaroos, so one of you guys, anybody, want to take Hammond for a short walk? As you can see, Hammond is on a super loose leash walk. He's been here a couple days, and one of his parents' biggest concern was that they can't walk him on a leash. And so the first thing that we started to do was walking him on a super loose leash.
Jen, break down the tap collars. I know a lot of people have this fear of hurting their dog, but every trainer I've ever seen, and people that have, all the way down to service dogs, they wear them, and I already know the answer, so Does it hurt the dogs?
No. So actually the remote collar that we use is a TENS unit. So a lot of you guys, if you follow Dusty, I'm sure go and see his physical therapy. A TENS unit is basically something that contracts the muscle. So what we do is we use the muscle contractor in order to contract the muscle when we're communicating with the dog to effectively mark as a physical marker what we want the dog to do or what we don't want the dog to do. It is actually, with technology in this day and age, the fastest, easiest way to train a dog that is the least confusing with no pain at all. It actually is just like using a clicker, and while a clicker is an audible marker, the remote collar is a physical marker, so we're actually able to communicate with the dogs through any distraction and anything that's going on.
So basically, guys, to break it down really, really simple, it grabs their attention. And I know that because I always see people, they cringe when they even want you put it on, especially people like me who are animal lovers, dog lovers, like, oh, don't hurt the animal. They're not hurting the animals. These are probably the most well taken care of animals on the planet. That's why they're here. So don't get confused by the work. I think it's key to put that on because, you know, you smack the hell out of your kids. This isn't as bad as that. Kids are still assholes.
For those of you guys that don't know what goes on behind the scenes, every single one of these dogs is being communicated to with remote collar, and as you can see, nobody is screaming, nobody's in pain, and everybody looks super happy. So this is us just effectively communicating in a way that the dogs understand.
So what happens now with these dogs are all working, practicing, whatever, and then these guys are chilling until it's their turn? I mean, how's this all go down?
So basically training at boot camp starts at 5:45 in the morning. 5:45 in the morning, everybody wakes up, goes out to potty, comes back inside, and we do breakfast. After breakfast, training starts for the day around 7 a.m. and goes all the way until 10:30 at night. And so when these dogs are training, these dogs are out. What's going to happen with the little babies is eventually they're going to come out, and so we'll start working the little babies with the big dogs and the big dogs the little babies. Everybody gets a turn, but we literally train all day from 7 a.m. until 10:30 at night. That's how we're able to get the results that we have.
And what's an average amount of dogs that are here at a time, and then how many people are working with them? Because I mean, it seems really seamless, dogs to human ratio, but you know, if I had more than like one dog, it would be a train wreck. So what's normal? Is there a capacity to just add more trainers, or what's that about?
Yeah, so at any given time, there's anywhere between 25 and 35 dogs. We never say no to dogs. What we do is we adjust the amount of people that we have on staff. So our ratio is 1 human to 5 dogs, and so the more dogs we have, the more staff we have on. We have a total of 19 trainers that work with us, all under our master trainer, Christy Smith. She's been training for 43 years. She's amazing, and she trains all of our staff with her magical ways.
They are magical. I've seen it. Look, it's right here. And these have these. I think what's cool is when you come in here, you can't tell immediately which dogs just got here. Like, I wouldn't have guessed that Killer over there that took a walk had been here for 2 weeks, and walking on a leash was difficult, you know, because it looked a little seamless right there. So that part's awesome. Now, how does the cages and all that stuff work as far as like in the summer here when it's going to get crazy hot? Like, this is a new place for you guys. How do you handle that? Like, obviously we're watching, not just training, but make sure all the dogs are healthy and not endangered when it's 120 degrees out. What do you do with that?
Absolutely. So actually what happens is when it's super hot and the sun is beating down, we have shade covers that go on each of the runs. We don't keep it there because we actually have real grass in the desert, so we don't keep them up all the time. But every area has a shaded spot for cold water and for the dogs to kind of hang out. And if you guys do notice, the crazy part, there's probably 30 dogs out here right now. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but it's pretty much quiet. The first thing that we teach the dogs is they're not allowed to nuisance bark. They're allowed to alert bark when somebody comes to your door, but they are not allowed to nuisance bark. We are in a residential community and we have neighbors, and our neighbors love us. They don't even know we have a ton of dogs here, so it's great. So a lot of dogs are really, really ball driven, and so we have to make sure that they're going to hold their commands even when things like toys and balls are being thrown around. So this activity happens about 20 times a day, until everybody holds their commands while we have balls being rolled around everywhere.
I love how you can tell they're tempted. They're like, ooh, this is tough. I feel you guys.
Ooh, Hammy.
See that? Thank you, good boy.
That was awesome. See? Ooh, thought about it.
Up, down. Good boy.
All right, so final thing, of course, I'm sure you guys are wondering is, because I've mentioned all the things that you do here, what are like the programs that you guys offer?
We offer 2 programs. Our first program is a program where we train you to train the dog in your home through unlimited private and unlimited group classes. The second program that we offer is our boot camp program. That's a 3 to 5 week program where the dogs come and live with us. We teach all basic and advanced obedience, housebreaking, and house manners. We start puppies as young as 8 weeks, so by the time they're 13 or 14 weeks, they're actually fully trained. The only difference between program 1 and program 2 is that the first 5 weeks they live with us versus the other one, the work is on you and you have to train the dog in your home in between lessons.
So, pretty basic, and then the only other last question is, it seems to me like the majority of your people are boot campers, and then just those who need like a full service dog do that. Unless you've got reasons, boot camp is what most people need, correct? Or the first 2 options?
I would say boot camp out of our 2 programs is primarily where our clients go, and the reason for that is it takes a lot of time and energy to get dogs where you need them. And so our staff works all day, all night in order to get your dogs there. While most people have jobs and lives and go to the gym and things of that nature, they don't have the time to invest in training their dogs. So we do it for them and we make it as easy as humanly possible.
So that's the magic, kids. You come here, they do all the hard work, and then your job is just to keep it up. So you can't just relax once it's all done. It's like losing your body fat and then you give up on the diet. Things will go sideways. You're gonna have to keep on some form of a plan with the dogs too. Keep them moving forward. Don't get lazy with what they teach you. You know, I'm sure you've all heard the saying that we get trained as people more than the dogs because they've already handled training the dogs. So they do their job. If you continue to do yours, it's a one-time investment. And the big thing that I push, because people will ask me, you know, how can you invest that kind of money into training your dog? And I kind of think in the opposite direction is just like anything that's a larger expense. Okay, Zoe hopefully will live 100 years, but let's be realistic. She's going to live 15-ish. I divide what the training cost into that. That's pennies, you know. So you want to be thinking about that as it might be a fee all at one time, but it's the life of your dog, and what they learn never goes away. So you do want to be the person that has that well-behaved dog, as opposed to the asshole neighbor where people are like, why do you even have a dog? So if you're going to do that, come here, K-9 Games, and they do have people, because I've seen it, come in from out of state just because of Christy and how well she's known and their staff. So this is not like an Arizona only thing. I mean, your dog's gonna come live here. You can come in, they can do their whole breakdown of the dog, figure out what they need to do, what it's gonna cost. That's individual dog to dog, but trust me, it's not that much, worth every penny. They'll bring you in, get you set up, you'll go home, come back, bam, you've got a machine that's also a loving dog.